So I think we're live. Um, if you can hear me, please let me know. I just came live just now. This is an impromptu stream. I am doing a little bit more work on this because I got the new linear rails, the new rails that came in with the bearings that can actually be tapped on and off, unlike in the past, it could not be done. So I said I was going to do some offline stuff, and I said, well, I might as well do it online with everybody here. So there, I want to go over some things I covered yesterday, though. See if anybody's in there first of all. If anybody can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Um, Let me know if you can hear my audio. Let me just check. You're going to have some double audio for a second. Okay, audio's working over there. Okay, good. I want to make sure everything's working. Let's see what's happening. For anybody who popped in, hi. Ed Kun, hi. How are you? So what I'm doing is I'm going to continue doing a little bit of work on this printer. I need to undo some stuff because tomorrow I'm going to do another stage of this printer build. Because I assembled the belt area, but I knew I had to undo it because the rods that I had for the belts were incorrect. So I got new rods and the bearings in today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble the belt area and put it and go through the process of stripping it down a little bit, rebuilding the rods with the proper rods and put it together somewhat. I'm not going to finalize the assembly because I do have to do some electrical work on the bed, and I have the wire that I need will not be coming in until tomorrow. So tomorrow I will actually solder the bed and so on, and I'll explain the process of how to do that. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to work on that tomorrow, but today I'm going to do a little bit of work on the print bed. You hear me just fine. Great. Hey, non-fam. Hey, Eric. How's everybody? Hey, Gary. Monday. Yeah. What I'm going to do, it's a surprise stream because I'm actually over on Twitch. I decided to stream this out on YouTube as well because I want it out on YouTube, but I'm on Twitch and I'm also on Trovo. And I'm streaming out while I'm adding multiple sources. So I need to do a bit of a modification on this. Let me put that out of my way for now. So the new rods came in today, the proper ones. They do fit. The bearings fit. They're tight. If you tap them, they fit well. So I'm going to disassemble this a little bit, take out the bearings, take out the rods, and set them up correctly with the proper ones in preparation for tomorrow because I have some soldering to do on the hotbed for tomorrow. It's on Twitch. Yep, it's on Twitch as well, Gary. So if you go over on Twitch, I am live on Twitch. For some reason, my video is downscaled on Twitch. I don't know why Twitch does that. Let me turn off the background lights in case they're causing some of the issue. Sometimes background lighting can actually throw off the camera. So let's see if that makes it any better. So, I had this bracket here that this mounting was originally for over here, but none of the belts would fit. I needed the longer belt, the larger belt for one to drive my belt, the Endless Z. So the short belt with this bracket, this mounting did not work. So I went along and designed my own one, which is similar, but I put the mounting screws on the outside. I can show you a close-up of that. So I went along and designed my own one and put the mounting screws on the outside. And this is actually going to work really well because it's going to be mounted here to run this belt, to drive the rail, to drive the belts for the double Y belts, the Y-axis belts. So I made this, and we'll mount that. But I do want to take apart the belt and get in there, get into the rods, and actually set up the new rods. So it is on Twitch. If you check twitch.tv/astroprinter, it should be live. So I'm actually live on multiple streams right now. Just so I'm going to take out. What I'm going to do is on the belt. Let me adjust this. Actually, this camera's a bit low. I think that'd be better. Let me see if that's a better view. Yeah, that's a better view. So I'm going to take off the front and the back of each of these, so I can take the rails out and actually redo the rollers on each. And I've locked the rollers into place because I have their positioning good, and I don't want it to change on me. Let me find the right. There we go. So I've locked them in. Actually, before I do that, I need to relieve pressure on the belt. Hey, the apprentice, how are you? Yeah, I'm just doing a little bit more on this. The parts I said at the beginning of the week that I couldn't on Sunday morning that I couldn't do because I didn't have the rods, the proper rods. They came in today, so I decided to get them fitted now while I can. And I have to take these screws all the way out first of all, because these actually hold the rod in place. See, let me switch so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. So I'm going to take this off, and then I'll take off these two brackets on each side and remove the rod, and then I'll do the two front brackets as well in a moment once these are done, and put the rods in there, the proper rods. These I have actually locked these bearings in place to hold it, so I can get my alignment correctly. Hey Kenneth, how are you? Good. I suppose it's late afternoon or evening now by now, I suppose. And I need to slide this forward to get the pressure off that, and then I open up the sides here. So how's everyone else doing, by the way? Hey Gary, it's just me, or does the image? I don't know. I've noticed. How's YouTube? Is it poor? I don't know why it's poor. I've seen issues with it recently a lot, and I don't know why it's doing that. And I have a feeling it's StreamYard, and I'm going through via StreamYard. If I go straight to YouTube or straight to Twitch or direct to Trovo, I don't have the video. No one's ever complained about the video issue, but when I go via StreamYard, everyone says my video is not great quality. I don't understand why. I'm even looking at it myself here, and it looks very soft, and I don't know why it's doing that. Let me check one thing here, actually. Settings. General. I'm doing 720. I don't know. I don't know why it's downscaling my video. No, it's not just you, Gary. It's videos. It is a little bit blurry. I don't know why. I do not know why. And only when I go via StreamYard. If I bypass StreamYard and go direct, I don't have that issue. And my StreamYard is paid for, so I don't know why it's doing this. You're mostly listening anyway. So I'm printing little brackets back there that I'll be using tomorrow as well for managing cables to go around the bed, so I can go down underneath for heating and the thermistor and so on. Yeah, they're printing okay. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be functional. So let's get these off. Same on this side, so we can take the rods out. I'm basically just removing these green plastic brackets that are there. That's all I'm doing. So how's everyone's day gone so far? Hope everybody's having a good day. It's the end of the days for most people, I would assume, unless you're on the West Coast. Let me do one thing. Actually, I forgot to do this. That's off. Let me check one thing then, make sure I turn these off. I did. Okay. So I don't know why the video is troublesome. But is everyone having a good day? It's a Monday, I know, and it's the Monday after daylight savings time kicked in, and let us all lose an hour of sleep at night. Okay, take off the back part of the belt. I can fish that through the belt itself. So I'm actually replacing and taking this out, and I'm actually going to mark on each end where these are positioned. So take off this, mark the outside, the same over here. And then I'll mark the inside where the bearing has to go, because the bearing needs to have some room to move around in there. So these are locked in place. So I can mark the outside of this. Where's my pen? Oh, there we go. A Sharpie. So this is on the outside in there. Okay. Marking in 2 spots, so make sure I get it. And on this side, it's be on here. And now, need to pick a side and remove them. Wrong size. Where's the right size Allen key for that? There we go. So I need to mark here where the bearing has to go into on the outside of the bearing, roughly there. And the other one I can tap on all the way. I can take this all off. What I'm doing is taking it apart, and then I'm going to mark the inside and outside here where the bearing needs to stop, because I need to know how far down to knock the bearings in, because they really require some tapping to get them in place. It's a tight fit, but it's a good fit. So unlike what I had before, with nothing would go on. So let's start with this is the proper bearing, the proper one, and that's on too tight. So I'll tap it. It's on too much. Actually, no, that's about right. Actually, I'm doing comparison between that and here, and the bearing should be sitting roughly against that. So I think the bearing actually is okay there. So I can just transfer this over up against that bearing, because the way it fits is, well, that's the wrong rod. That's the right rod, sorry. Yeah. So this fits up against the bearing. This needs to be loosened a little bit more. And the lip area, you can see it better on this camera. The little lip area that's here rests against the bearing to give you an offset, so that it moves freely around the bearing. You just go around and tighten that into place. So I'm not doing stuff off stream. I'm doing stuff I knew I had to come back to later on anyway. Might as well get it done now. And then tomorrow I will, once the wire that I've ordered arrives, I'm going to have to extend the cables for the bed. So we have a series of parts. So we have one of these goes right into the bearing, so it allows you to spin on the bearing. We have one without any bearing ports. And then we have the next one, which put a bearing in the end, and I need to use the old rod, which I've marked with the blue marker, to line up to figure out where I need to put the next bearing. Roughly there. Okay, I suppose I can tap it to get it. When I compress these, it'll go on all the way. So just tap. Get it on, and then just continue tapping it down to where I need it. And I'll leave it a little bit slack, because when I put on the next part, I'll compress it forward, because I have an alignment mark for it, which is this end. And they'll compress together right until I see the blue mark. How close am I? Let's see. I can use these as a guide, because this will slide in here to line the screws inside. That's actually okay. And I'll lock this into place. Wrong one. Where did I put it? Just tighten all these up all the way around. And that side is done. I might actually file a little bit out of the inside here. It's a bit snug. It'll loosen over time, I know, but still. I might pare it down a little bit to give it a little bit of space. So we have our first setup. On the other side will be this, which these screw holes. I'm aligning the screw hole here in this with the screw hole here in this, because that's for the belt tension. And that is good. So let me get these in place. These are the bolts I'm putting in for the belt tension. Just get them into the rod, so they screw into the rod, and that validates my alignment. Just doing both sides, because this bolt gives me my belt tension. So I don't have to go tight with that, but I will run it in a lot more. And then I will loosen it by setting the belt to its loosest position by sliding this forward on both sides, so the belt will be at its loosest point. So then I can, the back belt, the back rollers roll freely, and in the front one have our grooves, so they actually pull the belt forward. So that one is done. I think that's good. Everything moves nice and free. Hey Jerry, I'm just doing. I got the rods in, the new rods in today, so I'm just continuing on from what I did. I said I was going to do some offline, so that's what I'm doing right now, just to get these parts ready. Because tomorrow I have some 14 wire coming in tomorrow. Silicone wire, because I want to. The bed wires I have are kind of short, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend them, and behind me I'm printing some little clips that go into the V groove. So what I'm going to do is I'll solder on the bed, run the cable over, clip it into the V groove here, drop it down and clip it into the V groove below it. That will actually keep the cables out of the way of the belt, so they won't rub and cause friction. So, and since nobody's in there chatting, or like every now and again, small cam blurry. Not sure where they're going. Well, I don't know why. I don't know why. I really. Let me just see if I can do anything about that. Let me double click on that camera and see if I can fix it. By the small cam, you mean that's the high like the small camera you're saying is my high definition. Are you talking or are you talking about the large screen one? Hey Bear. To me, they both look on screen. They look okay, but on they look a little bit. They are blurry, and I don't know why. And it's only through StreamYard. Yeah, the small pic, I don't know why, because that's a 4K camera. So I don't know. So I'm going to do the same. Since I've taken this one off, I'm going to take off the front belt. I'm going to step out of the main view. I'm going to be over here the side camera. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to mark this again. Where is my? I can clean it up later. Mark the outside here, and then mark the outside over here. Well, that side is flush, so that's okay. That's not a problem then. Let's take this off. Your PIP video is very pixel. I don't know why, because the PIP video is a 4K video camera, and it's only through StreamYard, and I'm trying to make it at 720. And let me check OBS. I believe OBS is set for 27, the same settings, but let me verify. Come on, open settings. Hey Britt, how are you? Good afternoon or good evening. Stream is going okay. Output is video. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know why. I'm sure. I think it's my computer. I think my computer is underpowered. I have no backlighting or anything like that. I think it's my computer is underpowered. And right now, there's not much I can do about that. So take these out, and I'll put in the proper rods since I got them. And the proper rods do fit. So I can push on the bearings. They're a snug fit, but they do push on. The last time, there was no way in hell they would push on. You'd have to beat them on with a hammer, and even then you'd probably damage them. So now I'm not going to finalize the assembly of this after now, because I know I have to do some bed wiring tomorrow to put power for the bed running between the belt and the frame. So I'm not going to assemble this now. Jerry, I don't know if you remember. I found yesterday the two belts. I found a solution for it. I took the mounting that they provided, and I used it for my extruder instead. And I designed my own, because these belts are not long enough. Like, there's two belts. There's a short and a long. The long I did need down in the front area here, to drive the belt. So I use a short one up here, and I created my own mount. I designed my own mount that took away the height needed, and that now makes the belt this belt the right size. It'll fit. So I will. I let that. If you run into the same issue, you can print that part as well. I can give it to you. It's not a problem. It's a simple little print. But it's just a mount for the other stepper motor. And what happens is the stepper motor is actually touching the extrusion, which is okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. If the stepper motor ever gets hot, the extrusion will actually help wick away the heat anyway. So, and for soldering the bed, I have wires coming in, but I will Also need my heat gun. If you've never soldered a hotbed before, you will need either a high throughput heat gun, like a 100-watt soldering iron, or and even if you do, I recommend what you do, because you don't want to end up with a cold solder joint. Because the bed is aluminum, it's designed to dissipate the heat. So I would recommend you. What we're going to do tomorrow is, I don't know why, Kieran. I'm sick to that. I think it's StreamYard. I really believe it's StreamYard. It doesn't like my connection, and my connection speed up is okay, and I'm not maxing it out. And my CPU's only at 18%, but it could be my computer as well. And you know what? There's not much I can do about that because it's the computer I have. So, okay, that's that belt off. Just let me take it out. And we're going to do a bit of alignment here. So I'm going to mark on the outside of both of these because there's bearings that are going to be in these units, right? And they're going to compress up against this, but I need to mark the alignment about how far to knock in the bearings. So let me take off these so they're no longer locked in place. This one's going to unscrew these. Maybe it's not the cameras. Maybe I'm the fuzzy one. Okay, so this can come off. This can come off. I should have marked that, but I didn't. But it's okay. Actually, let me. Oh, I did mark it. It's okay. One bearing. That's the short side. So they put on the long side first, which they shouldn't have, but they did. I need to transfer the mark over to this one. I have a mark, so I need to transfer the mark over where the outside is. And I'll put the marker there. Just lying, how people Botox. That's funny. Okay, that's transferred. Okay. So with that on the long side, well, that's going to stick out anyway. I'm not too worried about that. This one is going to be flush. So what I can do is I need to put in all the other components. Where is that now fitting? Let's see. Let's see. My video settings on the ABS were high a long time ago. Yeah, well, we can look at that later, Jerry. If you think it might be that, I don't know if it is. But this is the old rod. I don't want this one getting mixed up. That's the long side, so I need to put everything else on first. These won't come on until I loosen them up more. I'm just loosening up all of these so they'll slide on. These are going a bit more. Back it off more. Back all these off. So there's these rods slide on. There we go. And this will go on as far as here. I'll align them in a moment. Centerpiece just slides on over that, locks in. And this third one goes on and interlocks with this one. Now, the one thing I have to watch for is that the rod protrudes out enough on this end, and it doesn't at the moment. So this will have to probably be adjusted a little bit. Do something that's soft. A little bit more. So So that's coming out roughly flush here. You see, I have to tap it a little bit more. I need to have that flush on that side. Let's give it one more tap. That should get me where I need to be. Yeah, perfect. That's good. And now I'll put a bearing into this, right, in here. And then this will be, let me get these screws lined up first. Because these need to go into the grooves and get locked in, because these drive the belt. So these are important that these screws go into these slots there in the extrusion in the rods. Otherwise, it won't have enough grip to drive the belt. Put them all together. Now my clips are ready. I made some little clips to go with this. And then I need to tap these together. Here, take this off there and let's tap this on it first. Once it's on, I can use this to tap it down. And then throwing away bolts. So that is looking nice and flush there. Maybe one fraction. That's looking nice and flush there. And then the other side protrudes because when I assemble the next part, which is this section, and the bearing will go in here, and this will go on like this. I'll put the this gear wheel on the outside here, and that will be locked in with grub screws, and then that will go to a stepper motor, which will drive your belt. So I might have actually tapped that on a bit too tight, but we can loosen it up again. Let me see how it fits actually. I'm just checking the fit of everything. I'm going to try it out on this side to see how it goes together. This side's okay. I can actually loosen this and move it out a bit. I'm just loosening this up and pushing it out a fraction the other way. Let's see how that works. Let's see how these fit together. And I'm going to try them on this side of the belt because it's the same on both sides. Yeah, it's close enough. I can tweak it afterwards. I can tweak it a little bit afterwards when it's locked in place. I can put a screwdriver in there to tweak it. So, bearing is on. I do need to push this back a little bit, but not by much. And I'll do that with a flat screwdriver or something else I can get in there. That won't fit. I don't have my screwdriver set. I have a spot. Actually, this will work. I can use this to wedge it in there. There we go. Move it up a little bit. So the fit is better. And it lines up with the extrusion. So that's a much better fit actually. And then I can loosen this and move this out. I'll move this out in alignment with the bearing, so there's no real gap there. because you want them to rotate with each other. Tighten it up because you need room for the belt. That's the important part, is the space for the belt to rotate. This should lock into place. Yeah, Mike, it's a little bit loose, isn't it? How are you, Mike? It's been a while. So I think that's not bad. So this will now, I won't do it yet, but what will be happening is I can't put the bearing on this until tomorrow when this is all assembled. But the way it assembles is this will go on like here, where I put the other piece. I dropped on the floor, perfect. So the way this will go assemble, let me go over to the side, you can see better. This will assemble like this and get mounted on here in the front, inside the belt. And now the belt can move freely on those bearings. And then on the outside here in this section, I will be putting on this bearing here. And I have to mount my stepper motor in here first, right? Mount my stepper motor in here. And then I can properly position this bearing or this idler to line it up, and that will then drive. Sorry, I put it in the wrong spot, didn't I? Idiot me. So that will be driven then by the stepper motor that's mounted here. So, and the belt that I have, this belt is the right size, I think. I'll have to check the belt. So I'll have to put a mount an idler and check it later on. But that's how it's going to go together. Actually, I think I can do that now, can I? Do I have I don't have. I have to strip down the other machine. I have to take the Y-axis stepper. I have to take off the Y-axis stepper and mount it here. So we can probably do that now, maybe. Yeah, this is lots of fun. Once you have the parts, Michael. That was always the issue, not having the parts. So let me take out these. Take apart this Y-axis. I think I have the belts the right way around, but we'll find out. But I'm almost sure I do. Well, thanks for doing the shadows, Sherry. I'm just occupying time before dinner. But I said I was going to do this offline, so the plan would be that this would be mounted in here, probably like so, with a belt going around this. And this can be slid for tensioning. And then this idler, I don't know if that's going to fit actually. That belt may be still too short, isn't it? Just fits. That's perfect. And that's how we drive our Z. So that's the setup, guys. That's how it'll be. That's what we'll do. Tomorrow we'll do the bed. But this sits on like here. So the longer belt is used here. I hate these idlers, because they're actually pressure fit. I really hate these. But that's how we move our endless Z. Then we'll rotate our belt. Once that's locked in, that will rotate and then we'll actually move the bed. Rotate the belt. The color, this green color is actually a Yusu PETG, and it's just called green. No special, no fancy names, just Yusu PETG green. And it's a nice color. I have to say, it is a nice color. I like it. And I'm throwing parts on the floor. 1 second, guys. The one thing you have to make sure that when you do print these, there's a little lip in here. Do not take that off by mistake, okay? Because your bearing needs to rest, the center of your bearing needs to rest against that so the outside rotates freely. So just make sure you do not do that. Actually, I made that a little bit too tight. These need to be perfectly aligned, and they're not. I thought I had them aligned properly. I didn't. I'll fix it later. It's fine. You need to give a little bit of clearance because you have to make sure it doesn't impede with the movement of the bed as well. That's important that you make sure it doesn't impede that. No, I didn't say I was colorblind. I just said it was green. That's the only color it's got. It's called PETG green. I think I may even have a little bit less in the spool somewhere I can show you. Do I? Maybe I don't. Maybe I use it. I think I use it all up. It's just called. Oh, actually, I do have some. Let me get it for you. Yep. It's just Yusu PETG. That's hard to read because they have theirs on a clear. Let me put my hand behind it so you can read. Just Yusu PETG is all it is. I slightly tapped them, but not by much, compared to what I was trying to do with the other ones. The other ones would not fit. I gotta hammer them with a. I could have hit them with a 50-pound hammer, and all it probably done is damage the bearing. But these ones, by hand, they slid on fairly easy. Well, to a point, and then I tapped them to make sure they were to get them in a little bit to get them into their spot. It wasn't that hard to do. So the last ones were a nightmare. They wouldn't have gone together, but these ones did. They arrived today. The replacements arrived today. So these old rods are too big, and I compare the difference. There is a difference. So, and you can actually see on the new rods, if I don't know if I can show you. I can't show you on that one. I might be able to show you on this one. You see here, you see the lines here, the striation lines here. They actually ground it down a little bit. If you look at the lines, you can see the lines at certain angles. They ground it down. So they actually did decrease the radius of that a little bit, in comparison to what I previously had. And it's obvious when you look along the edges here, around this section where the bearings go on, they actually did wear it down. So they verified it was correct before they shipped it to me. And to even verify, they put one bearing on each one before they shipped it to me to make sure that the fit was good. So they were wrong, and they admitted they were wrong, and they shipped me the replacement part, which is exactly what I needed. I needed the replacement parts, and I got them. So I'm happy with that. So tomorrow, as I said, tomorrow I'll be doing the heated bed. I'm waiting on 14 gauge wire coming in tomorrow, so I can do the silicone wire. So I can do the heated bed because and for those who've never done a heated bed before, there are a few nuances to doing it because the bed has a tendency to take away and absorb the heat from where you're working. So what you have to do is you either use a really high output soldering iron. I have 100 watt, but even then, I have a 100 watt gun is what I have, not just the iron, the gun. But even then, it will still absorb the heat. So what you do is a little trick is get a hot gun, put on a silicon mat, heat the build plate with the hot gun to make it really hot, and solder. Then flip it over and then solder it. The reason why is now the hot material is not going to be absorbing the heat from your heat gun, and you won't get cold solder points. You'll be soldering onto something that's already warm, so the solder will flow better, and you won't get cold joints. So if you've never done like soldering onto something onto a large metal piece, that's the easiest way to do it. No, they're not doing it at all, kids. Jerry's ones apparently goes together okay. He could push on the bearing by hand, like just by hand, about at least halfway or 3/4 way onto, like through the bearing. I couldn't. I only got about a millimeter, just the very edge, because as you know, those bearings inside are slightly rounded or slightly tapered, and I could only get the round part on, and after that it stopped. But the new ones, they actually fit, and with a little tap, they actually slide on all the way. So, there is a difference. So, but I did tell them they have to do QA on what they have, because shipping stuff with like that won't work. Now, so tomorrow, as I said, I've already planned, and I made this bracket myself to mount for this, because the one that they have would not allow the stepper to mate with this idler to mate with the bearing or with the belt. So I quickly threw together something in TinkerCAD, and this now allow, because the motor is now, because this is raised, there's a height difference here. Let me go to the large camera. So there's a height here, and this height is actually the reason why it wouldn't mate with the belt. So I took it away. Now the motor sits on the extrusion, and that's perfect for holding that belt in place. So I made that up last night. And Lama gave me a hard time saying, you should be doing that when you're not on stream. I said, well, what you want me to do? Start a stream and then wait 2 hours for something to print? No. I can explain this to people. It's easy to explain. I'm also going to redesign, because I'm leaving in the control box on the printer. I'm not taking it out. It's underneath, so I have to lift it up to put in and out my SD card. I will eventually put an SD card extender and mount it on the outside. Maybe mount it to my screen wherever I mount my screen. But I'm going to take one of these brackets, because these support the bed on both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave this off, cut this off, and then mount it on the extrusion, so it's underneath the bed area, but it's still supported from this extrusion, because this is supposed to slide. I can show you the opposite side. This slides in like so to give support. So I'm going to cut that off, because I have a box in the way, and I'm going to mount it here, so it's just a flat piece that goes in underneath that actually holds up the bed. So I haven't done that. I'm probably going to cut it off and then reprint it. Bring it into TinkerCAD or whatever and just cut it off. I could do it in Idea Maker as well. Slice off that piece and then use that to print it. So I'll probably end up doing that. I might do that later this evening. So tomorrow we'll take the bed off. I've printed clips. I just finished actually, and they are really bad. I don't know why they're so bad. I'll have to look at that printer. It's probably my settings. I'm over extruding, but I made little clips. Hold much this closer down. Little clips, and they'll go into the extrusion, like here. And by doing so, I can run my wires through that, and so I can keep the wires away from the belt and route the wires down the side. out of the way of the belt. So I'm gonna there. And are they going to redesign a power supply box? They said they were. They haven't done it yet. And you know what I've decided to do, since I'm going to leave the controller box there, I'm not going to use a drawer at all. Or maybe what I might do is I might move the controller box to the back, underneath in the back. And if I do that, what I'll do is I'll drill these uprights and I'll mount my power supply. Like I'll do it on actually on this side, but I'll mount my power supply. I'll show you the other way around here, but I'll mount my power supply here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to mount my power supply out there on the outside. So I'm going to work around what they're not doing, and I'm just going to mount my power. I'll drill and mount my power supply on the outside. That's all I'm going to do, and be done with it. I could actually drill and tap the holes, but I don't know but I can't because of the screw holes there. So I'll have to drill in here and drill into it and mount it on the side, and be done with it. And then I don't have to worry about it. It's just a cable is going to run up here, and then this cable then for the power will run underneath and will reach. I'd have to extend. I may have to extend that cable. I may have to extend this cable to make it longer off the board. I'll go in and make it a longer cable so I can plug it in underneath out of the way. Because they said they're going to do it. They haven't done it yet. So until they do, I'm going to find an alternative, and the drawer just won't get used. And that's that. That's how I'm going to circumvent it. Hell, I could actually use double-sided tape and just stick the power supply on. So, but I will get this part redone. The bed, I'm going to actually I could even take the bed off now. Wrong one. I can leave everything assembled and just take the bed out right now here, and run the wire. I can tomorrow. I can solder it. I will make space up here, and we'll do it. I'll go live. Sure, we can send you the STLs. The problem is, if you go that wide with that box, I think you have to make it into one box. And if you go that wide, I think the issue you're going to run into is there's no room in there anymore for the main board anymore. And that's the problem. Blue tape to squishes together. Sorry, this is. Hey, Amy, how are you? And this is not a llama stream. We don't use blue tape for everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the bed orientated so that the two heaters and the two solder parts are at the back, and then I'll route the cables over into these little clips that I've made, and then run them down the side and clip them underneath again. That way, then I can route the cables. But I want to extend the cable, so I'm going to add new wire to this, solder up the new wire, put a thermistor on it, solder it all up, run it back, and then join the wires underneath. I'll just solder them together and heat shrink them for both the thermistor and the hotbed. But that's for tomorrow, because I don't have the wire. The 14 gauge wire is coming in tomorrow. I do have silicone wire that I can use for the thermistor right now, but I won't do that today. The tabs also are for. You mean these, Jerry? Or you mean the two tabs that are the two pages that come off the front of the extrusion here? Yeah, I'm not even going to put those on. What I'll do is I'll make a cap up to cover these as slides on to protect the ends. Actually, I don't need to, because these will be on here, so I won't need to. So I will. Yeah, I know I won't even bother. Just a person looking for. What do they do now? That CR10 issue I was having today got worse. The right Z stepper clicks and has no torque. Now I'm going to replace it. No, but motors rarely go bad though. Are you sure it's the motor? Take the motor off, switch them. If you got a dual Z, switch them and see if it repeats itself on the opposite side. If it does, then it's the motor. If it doesn't, then it's not your motor anymore. So take both of those. If you have dual Z, take them both off, exchange places, and plug them in and see if you get the same issue. Because if it's only one side, motors don't go bad very often. I've seen one motor go bad, but it's not very often that they happen. So I wouldn't bet on it being the motor, is my guess. My guess would be it could be the stepper chip on the board. And if it's a stock board, you probably can't change the stepper chip. You have to change the board. Let's see. It could be a cable issue too. Yeah, it could be a cable issue also. For the power control box, remove center section and the two mounting tabs, are like 2 inches too far forward. Yes, they have to be moved back as well. What Jerry is referring to, I'll show you, is these mounting tabs. Here, let me go. I can show you up here. These mounting tabs. When this goes on, it actually stops short of touching this. It's actually out about 25, 30 millimeters. So it's actually off. That actually has to be moved back as well. On both the power supply, and I think if we can make the power supply case and the board case one unit, it'd probably be the better way to go about it. Okay, wait. New name, Beltoid Man. Sounds good. Yeah. So try to, if it may be the cable, if it's not the cable, if you switch them and it's still happening on the same side, then it's either the cable or it could be the board. And then you can always do it by switching the cable, see if that makes a difference. And if it moves with the cable, then it's definitely the cable. Now start with the simple ones on the outside and then work your way back. Yeah, we mentioned Llama a moment ago. Someone mentioned blue tape, and all of a sudden Llama appeared. It's a bit, Llama turns up a bit like, he's a bit like Matt. When you say the word giveaway 3 times and click your heels together, Matt appears. So Llama turns up when you say blue tape, blue tape, blue tape, and all of a sudden he appears. That's his magic word. For other people, it's abracadabra. For Llama, it's blue tape. So the belt is off. With the new rods, it's assembled, and everything's working. The other one I can't bolt together because I need to, but it does, if I hold the bearings, it does spin freely, which is good. And then so that'll be mounted tomorrow when I do the rest of this assembly. I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to have to take it apart again tomorrow anyway. Let's see. And I actually, tell you what, I'm going to mount this though, because I made this up and it works. Let me loosen up these bolts a little bit. I can get that in place for the y-axis. So line up these. I'm just lining up these bolts here to fit properly. Hey, Printon. Put that on there. And now I can set my tension on this, on the belt, and it works. Cool. That was like 20 minutes in Tinkercad to make that up. It's handy if I use the right wrench, wouldn't it? So it actually would rotate it. Rather than just spin around or do nothing. Actually, no, I'm going to slide it forward instead of backwards. I'm going to slide it this way for tension. Yeah. Keep it tidier. Is your main camera plugged into the correct? Yes. I don't know why it does that because I see clear. Okay, if it was a camera, it would be. I would not see it clear on my side because the output would be bad. It's going when I look at StreamYard, I see the output, and I look at OBS, it looks clear. It is going from these outwards is where the problem is, and I think, hey, Marlon, I have a feeling it's actually StreamYard's issue. So I'm foggy. It's just no. It's actually you, Lama. You're getting old. So that works well, and that belt is nice and tight, and that moves nice and clean. I tried restarting StreamYards. I've tried a whole pile of things. It's happening every stream. I think it's StreamYard itself is the problem. It's downscaling me, even though I'm transmitting at 720. So, hey Shane, how are you? You've got potato can. Yeah, we all have potato, and it's clear on my side. Even when I see him in StreamYard, it looks clear. Whatever is, I don't know what they're doing with the data, but I am sending out clear data because I can see it on StreamYards. I can see it on OBS. So I don't know what's going on. But we have our bearings assembled. Bearings assembled. Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. I can mount the stepper motor in here. Since this is sitting on the ground, I can mount the stepper motor sideways. So I'm going to mount the stepper motor to the side so the cable runs backwards. And I can get the screws into that. So these are M3s. The ones that came with it are probably too short. I'm pretty sure. Yes, they are. So I have some M3s here. Hey, Chris, how are you? Hey, Skyfire. Yeah, I don't know why. And the video, I'm just done with this. That's too short. You need to use M3 12s. Should be the right size. I know. I tend to jump on before hot makes, and then I'll raid over to hot makes when Jim and Shannon go live. Sorry, I'm just going to do this on the table. It's way easier. Hey, SBC. Yeah, you're right, Kieran. I always look fuzzy. My focus is clear. I see clear focus on my screens. It's when it's going out through whatever StreamYard is transmitting, it goes fuzzy. But it's clear on my side. Hey, Mike. But when I go direct, if I bypass StreamYard and go straight to YouTube or whatever, I never had this problem before. It's not focused for sure. Because it's clear on my side. If it was focused, I would see it blurry also, and I'm not. So I'm going to leave this loose so it can move until I have the belt on it tomorrow. But this will be the stepper motor. It'll be mounted this way, so the cable will run backwards towards the control box from here. And then there'll be a big idler on the end of this when it protrudes out this way. They mean idler on here. And then this belt will go around these two. I've seen it. I know it's fuzzy, and I don't know why. Because what I see, I know even on StreamYard, it looks clear. It's when StreamYard retransmit, it's blurry. So if I look on Twitch right now, I can see it's not very, very clear. But when I'm on, and I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird. but it's StreamYard is outputting. I'll have to go do some checking on it. But it's weird. They're not balancing because from my screen on StreamYard here, it's perfectly clear. Both of them. On my OBS, everything's perfectly clear. So it's not a local focus thing. So that means OBS is transmitting the image as I see it, but whatever's appearing on the other side is bad. Now, is it looks like StreamYard is re-encoding. It could be, and I don't know why, because like my uplink speed is okay. Anyway, anywho, this is the setup and how the belt. This is how the belt is driven. Once it's locked on, it will actually do. You'll rotate this. Ooh, that's getting stuck there. I'll have to check those. I may have to shorten these screws because they're actually engaging on the stepper motor. So I need to see if I can find shorter screws. I think I have to get 10mm M3s, and I don't have any 10mm M3s. I'll have to check. I don't think I have any left. Maybe I do. Let me have a look. Maybe I do. M320s I have. Do I have any M310s? M4s? M312s? These are all bolts. I'll have to see if I have any M310s left, because these I'll have to shorten those. Because what's happening is here, when it rotates, it's impacting on the stepper motor. So they'll have to be screwed all the way in, and it's really close. I mean, it's super, super, super close. They've not given it any tolerance at all there, any freedom at all in there. If you look how close it is, let me get close to the camera. There's actually no clearance whatsoever in there for a stepper motor. I don't have any pancake steppers that I could use, which would be the replacement of that, is putting in a small pancake. What time is it actually? It's okay, so hot mix starts in what? 15 minutes, Llama? Is that right? 15 minutes? So if it does, we will do the raid over in 15 minutes when he goes live. Yeah, the video is all off. It's all off. It's all a little soft, and I don't know why. They're already countersunk, but the problem is the bolts are a little bit too long. I would actually have to shorten the bolts, and I don't know if I have any. I don't have 10 mils. 8s are too short. I need to shorten these bolts. Let me see. Actually, maybe I have something shorter. Let me try. Because right around there, they are way too. There's no leeway at all. So if I can come down, maybe the 12 millimeters will do. These are M3. 12s might do. Let me try an M312, see if that will work. That might fix it, because they have to be screwed all the way in. They're already countersunk. So maybe. Let me do the second one so I can actually rotate it and see if that functions, if it works for me. If it is, I'll just take out the ones that are in there and shorten them all. I'm switching them out with M312s. I think they're M318s. See if that works. See, the thing about it is the bolt has to go down and bite into the extrusion, metal rod. There's a little groove in the metal rod that has to bite into. Yeah, so by shortening the screws, I have shorter ones. I didn't test this before, so now I have clearance. But it's so little. I mean, there's a fraction of a millimeter distance is all you have in there. The clearance is very little. So I'll just switch them all around to the smaller bolts since I do have them. I think they're M330s I'm using. Or M320s. I'll check them in a moment. Deep enough? It may not be deep enough. No, these are not deep enough. We'll see. I'll assemble it and see how it looks. As long as it bites into the rod, it'll stop and it works. That's all I care about. That'll give the mating to the base that I need to do the assembly. Okay, let me switch over here so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Hey Dan, how are you? Yeah, these are not perfectly aligned. I'll have to look at this in a while. But this size, I think I put the wrong size in this one. I think I put it was way too short. No, that's right. How's life, Dan? How are you feeling? Haven't seen you online on my channel in a while. You're good. That's good to hear. How's the family doing? Sam's still tolerating you, is she? So let's see how it goes. That goes in. Yeah, that will work excellent. Now that should give the clearance I need. Yeah, I'll just have to do it on both sides. Well, this side I don't need a clearance. This side I do because of the stepper. Because I needed because there's absolutely no clearance in there. It's about, I'm guessing about maybe at most 1 millimeter clearance, and that's not much. Well, I'll switch them both around. So we're doing okay, and we're going over to hot mix in 10 minutes. We'll go over and say hi to Jim and Shannon. So tomorrow we'll solder the hotbed. We'll put on the thermistor. We'll cut the cables off the existing one, and I'll run new cables. Actually, I have new thermistors there, but I'll use that one because these are new. I'll put a new thermistor. This hotbed has no positive or negative, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just extend the cable so I have enough clearance to route the cable underneath. I'll do the same for the thermistor. I'll cut those wires, and then later on we'll flip it over and we'll solder them underneath to the board, and we should be actually I should test that bed heating then before assembling anything else to make sure it gets warm and that it doesn't go on fire, right? We'll do that tomorrow. We don't want a lamp. We don't want a tripod stream, right? When we're going to have fires. I know. I just decided. Well, you mean when Jerry? I know. I just decided because I was undoing work I did yesterday, so I didn't think there was need to get Jerry on or anything because I'm undoing what I did yesterday to gain access to put back in the proper size rods that arrived today and bearings, and I took out the heat bed and the rest tomorrow. We might, if Jerry wants to join, we can. But I'm going to take the printer out of the way tomorrow. I'll solder up the the wires for the hot plate, get that up and running. Before putting it in, I'll cross wire them and twist the wires together and try and heat it up, see how it goes. And then when it's done, when I have everything routed, I will print. I have little clips printed. These little clips that go into the extrusion, they'll slot into the extrusion that I can run cables through. And I will use those to keep the cables away from the belt and route them down underneath to get them out of the way. That's why I need the extra length in the cables. And then when I'm done, when it's all set up and I'll put the belt and stuff back together, I'll flip it over and I'll then solder the cables back together, and I will heat shrink them to keep them protected. So that will be tomorrow's stream. So tomorrow's stream we'll be doing some soldering. I have a 100-watt soldering gun, but I have a heat gun there as well to heat the bed before soldering. That will be tomorrow. So if you haven't done a bed, guys, before, make sure you have a heat gun, because as I said earlier on, I don't know how many were in earlier. When you're soldering a hot plate like this, it tends to take away the heat from where you're soldering and dissipates it throughout the whole build area. So what you should do is preheat the build plate with a hot gun, with a hot air gun, heat it up, and then solder these. And the reason why you do that is now your solder points, when you're doing the soldering, you're not going to get cold soldering joints. The heat is going to be hot, so when you solder it, the plate is not absorbing the heat away from the hot gun, which is just thermodynamics, right? So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. And when preheating your build plate with a hot gun, heat a large area, and then quickly put it down and start your soldering job. That would actually prevent that from happening. So you get a good, clean solder joint, and you don't get the heat being stolen off your solder and from your solder by the bed. Don't want cold joints. You don't want it falling off during a print and shorting something out. So I have flux, I have wire, I have a new thing of flux. I got the no cleanup flux, which is just like a pen. You just put the flux in the area that's arriving tomorrow. The other flux I have is just too messy, so I'm just going to use a no cleanup. It's going to be tidier in this application. And I have all the solder and stuff I need, and it's all gone and so on. So that'll be tomorrow. How much time do we have? We got 7 minutes or 6.5 minutes before we go live at Hot Mix. Just let me get there. Actually, let me go over here. I want to get I'm in here. Let me go to. I'm going to get the raid. I'm not going to kick it off, but I'm going to find them because they won't show up. Are they showing up? No, because they're not live yet. Okay. I was going to get everything ready to do it, but they're not live, so you can't get it ready yet. Any questions? Anyone have any questions or anything? See, working bearings, guys. Bearings are working now. The rods came in today. If not, we'll just hang for a while, for a few minutes. And we got, 6 minutes before we go live? Before Hot Mix goes live? Anyone have any ideas on cable routing, suggestions on cable routing? I have the step, the E step here. That I'm pretty sure I have to extend that. This one for sure I'll have to extend, which is a Y-axis. I have to route it all the way back down here. What I was going to do is route it through these channels as much as possible. I was going to 3D print the inserts that clip in that cover the whole channel, and you can run the wire inside out and clip it in place. I have 2 wires. I can steal them off something else. I have to buy some, or I can make some. But I was going to steal one of the wires off my one of my rotary devices. This is a long wire. I just have to change the connector at the end. And then I have I do already have another wire, extension wire, that I can use to run this back. But let me see in here. This is my x-axis, which will be up here. So this sheeting will have to go away. This is my X end stop, which will be up here. And this is my extruder. I'll have to pull the extruder cable out and route it separately because I want to keep this to run the x-axis. Actually, that won't be long enough. I'll have to extend all these wires. They won't fit. Because my mode, everything, my extruder is here. My motor, actually, my motor is going to be on this side, actually, so this will work. I'll have to put out the extruder motor, the cable, but the motor for my axis here will work because it's going to be mounted on the outside. This is where my stepper motor will be for my X gantry. And my Z, it's in here, and it is definitely not long enough. That's my Y, and my Y. And my Y is not long enough. And I'm sure my Z is not long enough. So I'll have to extend those cables also. I don't know. I won't be doing that this week anyway, so I'll have to go find cabling. I don't think I have any cables left. I'll have to find cabling. I suppose I could always use silicone wire. Let me see. I have lots of length of silicone wire. Suppose I could use this stuff and create my own cables. Just stream it out and tape it together to create my own cables. Or heat shrink them. Put on get long strips of heat shrink, put it over it, and shrink it all together as one. I could do that. I don't have any other. I'll have to see if I can buy just the normal extension cables. I'll need a couple of extension cables. It's probably the easiest way to do it. But the wiring will not be till the following week anyway. So if I find the cables, I can just order them and I'll have them within a week. Hopefully. Any questions? Nothing? Everyone's been so quiet in chat. Bot official just joined the chat. Okay. Just so you know, guys, I'm actually streaming to another service as well as Twitch. OBS is doing the work, but I'm outputting to another service also. I'm actually going to try go direct to them later on and see how it works. You're not Abatas. You're never shy. You have never been shy. But yeah, what's we got? Well, 1 minute. Is hot mix up yet? Llama, are you out there? Let me know if they're coming up live. Let's see if I can hit the raid channel button over here. And hot mix. And they are not listed because they're not live. Hot mess is live, but hot mix is not. I don't know who hot mess is, but Jerry or somebody, can you let me know when hot mix goes live, so we can go over and raid into hot mix channel. And that's only for those who are on Twitch, by the way. Anyone on Facebook or on YouTube or on Trovo will have to go over to YouTube on their own. You cannot raid on YouTube, and you can do since they're not on. Since Hotmix is on Trovo, I cannot raid over on Trovo over to Hotmix either. So let's see, are they live yet? He should be coming online now. Let's see. Raid. Hot mix. Still not up. Any suggestions, guys? Do you see him alive? Let me go to Twitch.tv and see if you see him. Maybe he's showing up and it's just showing up when I type it. Let's see if is he live yet? No. I don't see him live.
Frequently we
quiet.
see them using
Quiet. Okay, no. 29 seconds. Okay, he's in the countdown. Now he's live. No live yet on YouTube or Twitch. Okay. I'll just see if I can find him. Now he's live. 30-second countdown. Okay, so if he's got a countdown, maybe I can find him. That means he's broadcasting. Hot mix. Come on, show me. He's still not showing up. It's Hot Mix Live, isn't it? Hey, Sergio. We're just finishing up because Hot Mix is about to go live. And we're going to raid over the Hot Mix. He is showing on Twitch now. Okay, let me try it. /raid. Hot Mix Live, isn't it, guys? It's Hot Mix Live, correct? Just verify for me. It's Hot Mix Live. Yeah. There's no @ yeah, but yeah, Hot Mix Live. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, let's kick this off and see how long this takes. Because it's really slow on my machine. It says it's preparing 7, 10 viewers, 11 viewers. 11 viewers are ready to go over. We have 13, but only 11. Okay, guys, let's go raid Hot Mix. Thank you for hanging out with me. We got a little bit more work done. We undid some work and we got ready for the next part. But tomorrow I'll be soldering some wires, some of the parts of the bed and so on to get ready. So come join me and check me out here tomorrow night. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening. And let's go and see what Jim and Shannon are up to over in Hot Mix. Take care. And we're hosting. Just verify somebody that failed over. I did. Why does this take so long? That makes no sense. I've already clicked finish. It says the raid has been created. And everybody's still here. And I'm even hosting Hot Mix Live. Did it fill over yet, guys? Oh, I'll try it again. Raid. Hot Mix Live. Let's do it again. It doesn't seem to want to do it. Oh, it's only one viewer now. Raid now. All right, I'm going to shut this down. If it doesn't raid over for you guys, jump over yourself, okay? I've tried it twice. It says the raid has been created and it's doing nothing. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Just go over to Hot Mix. I'm sorry, I'm trying to raid, but it's not working. All right, guys, I'm shutting this down. Take care, guys. See you over in Hot Mix.